So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, as usual, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. We will be talking about 4-5 important articles and then we will be wrapping up the session. Okay. So we will start with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture, and then we will see 3 articles, that is Nalanda, a new campus at the ancient site. You know that Nalanda University, it was a ancient university. When we are talking about the Gupta dynasty ruler, they have actually constructed it or built it, and afterwards there was various incidences which has happened, but this was you can say a center of studies, or you can say when we are talking about the Buddhist studies, that was a prominent center, but it was not limited to Buddhist studies only. Okay, so we will talk about that. Then second is, do elephants have names? Now there is this new study which says that elephant might have this interaction with each other. Now the thing is, do they have names or there is another mode of these interactions? Okay, so we will talk about that. Then who owns the Alexander the Great? You know that the Macedonian ruler Alexander the Great, he was quite prominent when we are talking about the ancient time. So we will be talking about the legacy of this particular person. We will see why this news was in the discourse. Okay, then again from around the world we will talk about 1-2 articles. We will see some maps. Okay, and then for your own read there will be one article which has been you can say there we have discussed earlier as well, but recently when we are talking about the Delhi heats, or you can say why Delhi is becoming so hot right now, when we are talking about the nights as well, the temperature in nights is also not decreasing, because nights are the time, these are the buffer times when you will see that there is some kind of relief in the heat. Okay, but that is not happening this time. So we will see what are the reasons. So this article has been covered in focus. Okay, so that is there. Then coming to the last part, that is practice question. We will see a practice question for you and you have to attempt it, and then we will be wrapping up the session. Okay, this is today's front page here. So sheltered militant acted as guide. So basically here this was talking about the Raisi attack which has happened in Vaishno Devi, okay, or Jammu. So that was there. So there was some kind of arrest which has happened over there. So that is not important as of now. Okay. Then coming to the second here, you can see the NEET reaches Shah table. Then NET exam cancelled, hitting 9 lakh students. Okay. So recently you know that there was this issue with respect to the examination, NEET examination of the medical aspirants. So when we are talking about that particular exam, there was certain allegations were there with respect to the, you can say, paper leak, and otherwise also there was some issues with respect to the grace marks which has been awarded. Okay, then the exam was reconducted. So all these things were in news, and with respect to that, the next exam for the PhD admissions and NET JRF, there is this exam which is conducted by UGC. So that exam has been cancelled. Okay, so that is all you need to know right now, because the details are not important. Okay, now coming to the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Which of the given country does not have a boundary with Syria? Okay, so we have discussed the Middle East yesterday. Okay, so here you can see this is Syria. Syria has boundary with Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, okay, and other countries are also. When we are talking about this particular options here, so Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, they have boundaries. With Saudi Arabia, they do not have direct boundary. Okay, so option B is your right answer over here. Now coming to first part, that is New Nalanda. Prime Minister Narendra Modi at ruins of ancient university at Nalanda, Bihar, Wednesday, inaugurating a new Nalanda University campus. He said it should be center of India's identity, with perennial flow of knowledge. Okay, now with perennial flow of knowledge. So basically he was at Nalanda, and there was this plan which has come up. When we are talking about the idea, okay, so that was laid back way back in 2006 by our former president APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, and he has actually come up with the idea, and afterwards there was this bill which has passed in the Bihar Assembly, then in the India's Parliament. Okay, so we will discuss all these things. Just know that we are going for the inauguration. We have inaugurated the Nalanda University, or the new campus has been inaugurated. Okay, now coming to the article itself, here you will see, as a new campus rises at the ancient site, the story of Nalanda we will talk about. Okay, the campus of Nalanda University was formally inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday. Okay, this campus is spread across 455 acres. It is 100 kilometers from Patna. When we are talking about the campus, that is at Rajgir. Okay, Rajgir, you know that was a prominent center when we are talking about the Mauryan Empire. Okay, it was at a time capital also. After that, capital was shifted to Patliputra, or today's Patna, you can say. So Rajgir was the capital, and afterward in the Gupta time also, this was a prominent center of Buddhism. And at that point of time, they have established this Nalanda University. Okay. Now it is 100 kilometers from Patna, 12 kilometers from the ruins, or you can say the Buddhist monastery where earlier this monastery was there. Okay, the greatest center of learning of all of the antiquities. Okay, this was prominent center of Buddhism. But the thing is, when we are talking about the area, this Patna or Patliputra or Rajgir, this area was at that point of time under huge influence of Buddhism, because you know that Ashoka converted to Buddhism. All these things were there. Okay, but again, when we are talking about Nalanda, see, prominency of Buddhism was there, no doubt. But the thing is, when we are talking about the studies which were taking place over here, they were from all the sections. Okay, that is religious studies were there, geography, mathematics, all these things were taught over here. So that is there. Then coming to reviving the Nalanda, as I told you, in 2006, our former president APJ Abdul Kalam has put forward this idea of reviving Nalanda University. Okay, to capture the Nalanda's past glory, it has been proposed to establish a Bodh Gaya Nalanda Indo-Asian Institute of Learning in partnership with the select Asian countries. Then we are talking about in partnership with the select Asian countries, because in these countries, when we are talking about the South Asia, there are various countries which are also relate themselves with the Buddhism. Okay, so that is there. In 2007, proposal to re-establish Nalanda was endorsed at the East Asia Summit at Mandoy, Philippines, and then reiterated in the East Asia Summit 2009 in Hua Hin, Thailand. Okay, so as I told you, when we are talking about the South Asian countries, they are having this, they relate themselves with the Buddhism. Okay, so there are certain countries which are having this culture which is there. So it can act as a cultural ties as well with these countries. Okay, so that was there. So at East Asia Summit, we have actually put forward this idea, and it was reiterated way back in 2009 as well. Then 17 countries other than India, they have came together over here. You can say Australia, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, China, Indonesia, Laos, Mauritius, Myanmar, New Zealand, Portugal, Singapore, South Korea, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Vietnam. Okay, so these all countries, 17 other countries along with India, they have helped us set up the university over here. Okay, why? Because there will be, this university will also be a center of, you can say, international studies as well. Okay, so in 2007, there was this bill which was passed in Bihar's assembly to go for the University of Nalanda bill that was there. Then in 2010, Indian Parliament replaced this bill, this act, or you can say this University of Nalanda Act, with a Nalanda University bill in 2010 in Indian Parliament. Okay, because they said that this institute will be a institute of national importance. Okay. Then in 2013, there was this master plan which was prepared by a renowned architect B.V. Doshi. Okay, there was this international competition. With that, they have come up with he was the kind of emerged as a winner of that particular competition, and he has built the you can say plan of this university. Okay, now Center of Research and Learning. When we are talking about this particular university, since 2014, classes has been started. The first batch started in 2014. These classes are happening at you can say Rajgir Convention Center, and hostel is Hotel Tathagat, which is there. That hotel is acting as a hostel as of now. Okay. At the first instant, when we are talking about the 2014 batch, there were 15 students which has taken admission. Okay, and at that point of time, School of Historical Studies and School of Ecology and Environment Studies were there. Further, there were many other disciplines which will be added over here. Okay, when we are talking about the first chancellor, university's first chancellor, so you know that Nobel Prize winning economist Amartya Sen. When we are talking about Amartya Sen, so we have seen his work on justice, etc. Okay, social justice, etc. So Amartya Sen will be the first chancellor of this university, and the then president Pranab Mukherjee became the first visitor. Okay. Then afterwards, as I told you, further more discipline has been added. These disciplines are School of Buddhist Studies, Philosophy and Comparative Religion, the School of Language and Literature, School of Management Studies, School of International Relations and the Peace Studies. So, okay, so they will be providing 2 years masters, they will be providing PhD programs, they will be providing diploma and few certificate programs. Okay, so that is what we are talking about, the current situation of the Nalanda University. Then campus, if we are talking about, so there are various things which we will be discussing in the next further in this particular paragraph over here. So this particular thing might not be very important for you, because this is talking about the features of the university, because they when we are talking about the competition exams, they might not ask you this. But if you are at going for the Bihar PCS sector, then there might be some importance over here. So the accommodation right now is of 7,500 students and teachers, okay, and the students from 31 countries will be participating over here, okay. And when we are talking about the campus style, okay, so they have actually planned the administrative block as the how the ruins of Nalanda University looks like, okay. So that is there. Other than that, it is a mix of modern and the traditional technology. They are using AC as well as the, you can say, natural cooling systems in the you can say university. So all these things are there. It will be a green building, okay. Other than that, cars will not be allowed in the university. All these things are there, okay. Now coming to the last part, that is Nalanda Mahavira. When we are talking about this Nalanda Mahavira, at that point of time, the Mahavira word was used for the huge monasteries, okay. So here you can see Mahavira in Sanskrit or Pali means great monasteries, okay, and Nalanda was there active from 5th century to 13th century CE, okay. So that is the timeline. 7th century Chinese traveler Huan Sang, you must have heard about this traveler, that is Huan Sang. He was you can say quite a prominent figure when we are talking about the Indian history. Huan Sang was a Chinese traveler, and he has actually given his chronicles, his you can say experience in India, okay. In that he has mentioned Nalanda University as well, and he has said that at that point of time when he visited India, there was a capacity of housing nearly 10,000 students and 2,000 teachers in this particular monastery, okay. Other than that, he has said that there were various disciplines which has been taught over here. Nalanda was definitely not an average Buddhist vihar, that is why it is called as Nalanda Mahavira, okay. Then under his aged and saintly abbot Shila Bhadra, Nalanda also taught Vedas, Hindu philosophy, logic, grammar and medicine, okay. So this name you can remember, that is Shila Bhadra. He was kind of, you can say, the person who was prominent in Nalanda, that is Shila Bhadra, okay. He was at that kind of time, at that time you can say that he was the person who was managing the university, okay. So here Vedas, Hindu philosophy, logic, grammar, medicine was also taught, okay. So that is about Nalanda. There are certain things which will we discuss, that Nalanda Mahavira 5th to 12th or 13th century, that can be differ. So 12th to 13th century, when we are talking about the dates in history, okay, so there can always be a little bit debate over here. So just know that this is the timeline, 5th to 12th or 13th century. So this is Nalanda, okay, this is Nalanda. So Nalanda Mahavira 5th to 12th century university, considered one among the greatest learning center in the ancient India. Kumar Gupta was the founder of Nalanda University, okay. So he was from the Gupta dynasty. Ruins of ancient Nalanda University in Bihar declared as World Cultural Heritage by UNESCO in 2016. The multidisciplinary traditions of Nalanda Mahavira includes lessons in mathematics, astronomy, grammar, logic, defense studies, etc. The teacher-student ratio was 1:8, because we have seen that it was nearly 2,000 teachers for 10,000, you can say, students over there. The ratio will be maintained in the new campus as well, okay. So that is a you can say important factor here, which you can remember, that in the new campus as well they will be maintaining this particular ratio, okay. Now moving further, if we see second article, which is related to your elephants, as I told you. Yeah, elephants have names for each other, what a new study says. So basically this is clear that elephants do have a name, okay. When we are talking about elephants, okay, so they actually, you can say, interact in rumbles, okay. This is a kind of sound, okay. This is a kind of sound which they actually make. This is a low pitched sound, low pitched thrumming sound, okay. you must have heard any elephants, they make a particular kind of sound. When we are talking about this particular sound, that is called rumbles. Okay, now in that rumbles, when they make these rumbles, okay, so it was seen that there were certain patterns. Okay, so they have, what they have done, that the scientist has recorded these rumbles, and then they have uploaded it to the AI, and they have tried to find these patterns. Okay, with that they have realized that there are certain patterns in which they are calling someone. Okay, or the thing is, the when they use a particular kind of rumble, a particular kind of elephant is responding to it. Okay, so they have recorded it, and then they have replayed it, and then they realized that yeah, they these elephants are responding to that. Okay, and to a particular rumble, a particular elephant is responding and not everyone. Okay, so now that means that there is some kind of identity which is attached with that particular rumble. Okay, so that is why we are saying that they might have names as well. Okay, I have taken this article because recently UPSC has been asking these questions. Okay, recently there was this question with respect to the orangutan. They have said that there is this species which is using hands or the fingers to make a stick from the wood, and they are using it to scrape the insects. Okay, now this is an animal behavior which UPSC has asked about. Other than that, also UPSC has asked about the bee dance, etc., etc. So they can ask you about this as well. So keep a tap on that, and this is very logical because when we are talking about the UPSC civil services prelims examination, that examination is for the, you can say, civil services as well as the forest services. Okay, so that is why environment part and the forest part becomes important. Agriculture, environment, forest, this part becomes important for your prelims as well. Now coming to the article here, scientists have found evidence with help of artificial intelligence tools that elephants have their own names that they use to address each other. Okay, now among a few animals which gives each other names, when we are talking about the elephants, they are not only the ones which are having names. There are dolphins, there are parrot. Okay, these are also responding to names. Okay, but that is altogether different story. Right now we will be focusing on the elephants. Okay, the study says that African elephants individually specific name like calls. Okay, now these name like calls which are rumbles. Okay, we will see the majority of the vocal sounds made by the elephants are rumbles, low pitched thumbing sounds, not trumpet, which are emotional outbursts. Okay, so there are two kind of sounds, one is rumbles, one is trumpets, but these trumpets are the high pitched sounds. Okay, when they are going for an outcry or when they are going for an outburst, emotional outburst, that is totally different thing. When we are talking about these rumbles, these are low pitched sound. Okay, so in human we have this tendency, when we talk, call someone, we go with a very polite attitude. Okay, so similarly they are also actually calling for the name in a low pitched rumbles, and then there are these trumpets which are basically high pitched sounds which are different from the rumbles. Okay, you don't have to remember all these things. Okay, now rumbles are more meaningful and are used in host of a different social situations. Okay, so there are different kind of rumbles. When we are talking about this name, when they are calling someone, we have identified the patterns, but there are different other kind of rumbles as well. Okay, now they have examined the rumbles, recorded the rumbles, and then feeding them to the AI models to see if we could predict a call, or you can say who a call was addressed to just by the sound or the property of the call. Okay, so basically we are analyzing this rumbles and then we are coming up on a conclusion. The call contains some information that identifies the intended receiver. In other words, that is a name. Okay, when rumble is made and in that particular rumble there was a particular kind of sound which someone is responding to, that means that that can be a name. Okay, now we don't know which part exactly was the name, but the thing is it was there, because when they are rumbling it, we are just saying that to that particular rumble then elephant is responding. We are not saying that which part of that particular rumble is the name. Okay, so when I say let's say when we are talking about the statement, okay, I want to call you Lalit. Okay, so like this is the statement. Now the Lalit is the last part which is the name over here. Okay, so similarly elephants are also making some kind of sentence in that rumble. We don't know which part is the name, so that is there. Then AI model successfully identified that they are having some pattern, and this showed that the some rumbles consist of information that was intended only for a specific elephant. Supplemented their analysis by playing recordings of the rumbles to 17 elephants and compared their reactions. Okay, so basically they recorded the rumbles, they have played it to the elephants. Before that they have analyzed it from the AI, and then they have played to the elephants and they have recorded their reaction. Now The individual elephants reacted more strongly when they heard their name compared with when they have heard rumbles directed at other elephants. Okay, so that is clear that they have some kind of information to which they are responding. That is basically their name. And animals like parrots, dolphins identify each other by imitating the signature calls of those who they are addressing. Okay, so as I told you, there are parrots and dolphins. They are also, you can say, responding to a particular type of call. Okay, then when we are talking about the researchers, they do not currently know where the elephant's name is located within the rhombus, which we have already discussed. They are also not sure if elephants have name for other object as well. Right now we know that elephants are responding to a particular rumble, so we are saying that they have the name. But the thing is, we don't know that if they have name for a tree or a bicycle or a man. Okay, so that is the conundrum here. Why the study is significant. Okay, now the fact is, when we are talking about elephants, this facts tell us that they are more intelligent than we know them. Okay, second thing is, when we are talking about the animal and the man, there is this chance of man animal conflict. Now that we know that they have this intelligence, now that we know that they can call someone, okay, they can cry for help, so there might be this you can say empathy which we can generate, and there are chances that these interactions will not result into fatal or you can say deaths, etc. Okay, so that is about this particular article. Now we can move to the next one. Okay, who managed global digital initiatives? Okay, so there is this global digital initiative, that is, you can say, global initiative on digital health, that is basically GIDH. Okay, so when we are talking about this GIDH, okay, this is under WHO. This GIDH, the idea, or the you can say this particular initiative was launched at the G20 summit. Okay, so here you can see the global initiative on digital health, GIDH, was launched as a key deliverable of India's G20 presidency. Okay, the idea was mooted way back in, when we are talking about the previous G20 which happened in Indonesia. The idea was mooted over there, but in this particular visit, when we are talking about in this particular G20 summit which has happened under the presidency of India, this was a key deliverable. Okay, second thing is, in that particular you can say summit, India has actually pledged that they will be giving 10 million to the fund. Okay, so there was this fund which was created for this, and that fund will be utilized for the digital health, okay, or the initiatives on the digital health, and we have pledged 10 million. Okay, now with that, the when we are talking about the authorized body, they have gone to the Ministry of Health, they have gone for the asking this particular amount, that is 10 million, and the Department of Revenue has said that they are not agreeing with it. They are saying that this particular pledge should not only be in the monetary terms, there can be other ways, like in kind they can also pay, like the technical support, etc., etc. Okay, so why this reason was given, etc., that is unknown, but as of now the ministry or the finance ministry has said that they are not agreeing with this $10 million pledge. Okay, now here you can say finance says no to health request for 10 million $10 million fund to the meet G20 pledge. Okay, promising unwavering support, India pledged seed fund for the digital health. So in this particular initiative, that is GIDH, we have pledged a fund that is $10 million. Okay, and the finance ministry has said that they will not be giving that particular fund. Reasons are not yet clear. Okay, it is a WHO, World Health Organization managed network of agencies, and its objective includes assesses and prioritize needs for sustainable digital health transformations, much digital health resources, and match digital health resources and unfunded priorities. Okay, so basically they are what they are doing is they are focusing on the digital health. Okay, telemedicine, etc., record making, etc. So all these things are part of your digital health, and this is an international collab, or you can say it is led by WHO. Okay, now here you can say the part of New Delhi's declaration, and India promised to make a 10 million contribution to it as a seed fund. GIDH kicked off formally on the February 20, 2024 then but India is yet to make the contribution. Okay, so we have pledged it, but we are yet to make it. Department of the Economic Affairs, not Revenue, Department of the Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance has not approved of the contribution which India has promised as part of the unwavering support. Okay, then we have this GIDH, the World Health Organization managed network of organizations, institutions and the government technical agencies engaged in supporting national digital health transformations. In Delhi Declaration, the G20 leaders welcomed the establishment of the GIDH within a WHO managed framework to build a ecosystem in compliance with the respective data protection regulations. Okay, so we are trying to build a ecosystem over here on which digital health will be promoted. Okay, so that is about GIDH. That is the key takeaway from this particular article, that is GIDH, and it is managed by WHO. G20, it was an initiative of G20, and when we are talking about starting, or you can say that it started under the India's presidency, that is why it becomes even more important for us. Okay, the Department of Economic Affairs does not support the proposal contributing $10 million to the initiative, did not specify any reason. This funding should not create committed liability. So basically what they are saying is that the sources are saying that the rationale behind it is that the department is saying that this should not be a committed liability. Okay, so this can be done in the other ways. Okay, instead India making financial contributions, it argued that it should look at the options like technical support to GIDH. Okay, so we can provide a service in that respect, but not directly the you can say this kind of contribution, monetary contributions. Okay, then permanent mission of India in UN. You know that every country has a permanent mission. When we are talking about the UN, PMI recommended to the government to make contribution of substantial financial commitments towards the establishment of the GIDH. Then entire global south and the west, and including African Union and the Latin American nations, look upon India as the torch bearer in the digital health. Now we have committed some money, we have committed some fund, and now we are not giving it. We are the, you can say, voice of the global south as of now. Okay, so other countries like Latin American countries and the African Union, etc., they consider us their voice. Okay, so we should not, you know, go for such incidences. Anyway, we will see what happens. Then second thing is over here is that Indonesia has contributed 50 million. Okay, when, as I told you, this idea was mooted back in the Indonesia G20 the G20 summit which happened in Indonesia. Okay, at that point of time they have actually to keep their you can say presidential preventions, or you can say so they have actually given this contribution of 50 million. Okay, the fund was launched and projected as an achievement under the Indonesian presidency. As I told you, this was launched under Indonesian presidency. India took over the G20 presidency from Indonesia, and the next G20 summit will happen in Brazil. Now this sequence you should remember: Indonesia, the last one was in Indonesia, then India was the president in 2024 G20, and then when we are talking about the next one, that will happen in Brazil. Okay, so that is about G20 and GIDH, which can be important for you. Now moving further to the next article. Okay, so quarrels over history have blocked North Macedonia's entry to European Union. Okay, now we will be talking about two countries over here. First is Greece, then second is North Macedonia. I'll show you these countries on the map first so that it will be easy for you to remember. Now see, this is the area when we are talking about this is your Mediterranean Sea, and then we have this area of Europe wherein we have this Macedonia little north of the Greece. Okay, now Greece and Macedonia shares a border, that is one thing. Second thing is Macedonia has border with Greece, Albania, Serbia, and here Bulgaria. Okay, so that is important for you to remember. Now coming to the issue over here is that when we are talking about North Macedonia, that got independence afterwards. Okay, now this area, this boundary is of Greece. Okay, now this is Greece. When we are talking about this particular area, this area in the red line which is over here, that was the Macedonian kingdom. Okay, so that was the Macedonian kingdom, and if we are talking about the modern Macedonia, we will consider this part as the modern Macedonia, in which this part which is under Greece as well as the North Macedonia is part of it. Okay, then when we are talking about this particular region over here, Macedonia, Earlier on the independence, they have came up with the name that was Macedonia. Now Macedonia name, because they knew that Alexander the Great has the history from the Macedonia, and they have given the name the Macedonia, and afterwards they started to project that Alexander was part of their history. There were other prominent you can say figures in the history. They have also gone for the statue making of these all these historical figures over there, and they have claimed the history. Okay, now Greece has a problem with that, because Greece said that this part, okay, this part is the place where Alexander was there, and Alexander has nothing to do with this particular portion. Okay, and why they are using our history and projecting them as their own. And the Greece also has the problem with this name, that is Macedonia. Okay, so considering that, afterwards there was this agreement which said that they will change their name to from Macedonia to North Macedonia, because this whole region was considered as Macedonia. Okay, this geographical region is considered as Macedonia, and they have said that we will be calling ourselves as North Macedonia, so that agreed upon by the Greece as well. Okay, so that was the issue. Recently, now the issue is that on the Alexander or other other historical perspective, when we are talking about the various figures which they have actually made the statues of in their country, and they are claiming it to be their own history. Okay, so that is why this particular issue has been in news. Now Greece has issues with North Macedonia, and that is why Greece is actually making a hurdle in the Macedonia's or the North Macedonia's entry in the European Union. Okay, now let's come to the article. Here, the center of the Skopje, or you can say, I don't know how to pronounce it, because this is in some other language. This particular spelling is S-K-O-P-Z, Skopje or Skopje, I don't know. So this is the capital of North Macedonia. Okay, now here is, you see the center of Skopje, the capital of North Macedonia, a Balkan country born just 33 years ago as an independent state, is awash in history. A statue of Alexander the Great looms over the center square. One of his father, Philip II, one of his father, that means the one of the statue of his father, Philip II of Macedon, is also there. Okay, so there are various figures like that that was there in the Macedonia. Okay, the city is also littered with the tributes to bronze, stone, and the plasters of generations of other heroes from what the country sees as its glorious and the very long history. Now the thing is, they are saying that that is prominent figures from their history. Now other countries are saying that that is not the case. Okay, because they were not part of their history. Here you will see the most of the history on display is claimed by other countries. Present day North Macedonia, birthed by the breakup of Yugoslavia in 1990s. You know that when we are talking about 1990s time, USSR was actually collapsed, and then there was various countries which came into picture. One of them was this, that is you can say North Macedonia. It came out of Yugoslavia in 1990s and has no real connection to the Alexander the Great, who lived 2000 years ago down the road in what is known as Greece. Okay, so Alexander was from Greece, and they are saying that the other countries are saying that North Macedonia has no connection with the Alexander the Great, and many of other historical figures honored with the statues are Bulgarian. Okay, so they are saying that other statues are Bulgarian. When we are talking about the Alexander has no connection with the Macedonia, and that is why North Macedonia again. Okay, and that is why it is claimed by other countries that these histories are not their histories but our histories. Okay, the plethora of statues erected by her country in an effort to build a state and national identifier. Here there is a scholar, and that scholar is saying that that these statues are basically claimed by their country, or made by their country, or erected by their country to build the state and the national identity, because this state was separated from Yugoslavia. They did not had their own history, so they started making their history. Okay, so that was the case. So it is kind of an overdone marketing, and that is the words of their own scholar. There is this historian, when we are talking about, the name is Slavika Babamova. Okay, so she said that it is an overdone marketing by the North Macedonia. Okay, North Macedonia's identity building has long infuriated Greece, which claims ancient Macedonia as part of its own heritage and has a region named after it. Also angries the Bulgaria. Okay, so we have also said over here that this is the part of, you can say, Macedonia, which is there in Greece. Okay, so Greece has a part that is Macedonia. Somewhere over here they have this Macedonian a place named Macedonia, and that is why they had problem with the Macedonia name of this particular new country. So that is why they have changed it to North Macedonia. Now coming here, you will see the the 10th century Bulgarian ruler whose statues now crowded the center of the Skopje. So when we are talking about the Bulgaria, why Bulgaria has issue? Because their rulers are also being portrayed over here. Okay, who owns the past not only unsettled the scholars but have also had a serious consequences, blocking North Macedonia's entry into European Union. Okay, so Greece is blocking the North Macedonia's entry to European Union. Now they have also clouded a national building project founded on history that others says belongs to them, particularly Alexander the Great. Okay, so North Macedonia is trying to create a history, okay, and other countries are saying that that belongs to us. He did not live on the territory of what it is today's North Macedonia or speak its Slavic language. Slavs arrived in the area centuries later. Okay, so when we are talking about this area of North Macedonia, it is populated by the Slavs. Slav is a community which is found in Europe, okay, Yugoslavia and some part of Russia, etc. So this is Slav community which is found in that particular area. So the Greece people or the Greek people are saying that this area belongs to the Slavs, and the Alexander the Great, at that point of time Slavs were not there in that particular area. That is one thing, and the language was also not being spoken by the Alexander at that point of time. Okay, so that is there. So basically the North Macedonia is overstating their claims. Now Greece, furious when its neighbor declared its independence in 1991 in the name of Macedonia. As I told you, when 1991 they have actually separated from Yugoslavia, they have given their name, that was Macedonia, and later in you can say 2018 there was this deal which was signed, and that deal was basically that they will change their name to the North Macedonia, and ultimately that was accepted by the Greece as well. Okay, so that is about the you can say Macedonia, North Macedonia, Greece issue. Okay, so they might ask you someday, so please keep a tap on that. That is basically a topic of your world history. Okay, now moving further, the next article is China eyes plan to link railways across Southeast Asia, expanded BRI. Okay, so recently there was this visit of Chinese premier to Malaysia, and they have signed various documents and agreements over there. Okay, so and when we are talking about they have this special agreement, or you can say 5-year program over there. So they have renewed the 5-year program to collaborate on various you can say sectors like trade, infrastructure, investment, agriculture, manufacturing, finance services, etc. And it was about this will expire in 2028. Okay, so it was first introduced in 2013. That these things are not important for us. Now, right now what is important, that I have taken some map from this particular article. They are saying that it is willing to study a plan to connect Malaysia's 10 billion East Coast rail link to China backed railway projects in Laos and Thailand, potentially expanding the BRI. When we are talking about BRI, we know that we are having this Belt and Road Initiative which is developed by China. Okay, so this is what they are talking about, the eastern route. Okay, this is the eastern route. This is basically connecting it to Malaysia. Okay, and this is your Kunming. So from Kunming they are connecting it to Malaysia. These are countries like Laos, Thailand are also there. Okay, so this is Vietnam, then we have this Laos over here, this is Thailand, this is Cambodia. Okay, and then this part over here there is Malaysia, then Singapore is there. So basically that is connected through this. Okay, there are other plans as well. Now what China is saying, that with that they will further expand it to China over here. Okay, so they are trying to go for the connectivity, and they are saying that there are other projects as well that is there in the Cambodia and Laos under the BRI. So they are trying to expand the BRI. Okay, now these area, the Southeast Asia, when we are talking about, these are the countries which becomes important, that is Myanmar, then Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, then we have Malaysia, Singapore, we have Indonesia over here, we have Brunei, Philippines, etc. Okay, so this is about the Southeast Asia. So please go through this particular map, remember the countries, their sequence, because the sequence from north to south, south to north, east to west, that can be asked in examination. Okay, now moving further, for your own read, there is this article, highest minimum temperature, why Delhi's warming nights are causing cause of worry. Okay, as I told you, this night time is basically the time when you will see a fall in the temperature, because these are the time when sunlight, when we are talking about the insolation, that is minimum, and because of which in the early morning, if you see 3 to 5 a.m. you will feel that the heat is not that much. Okay, but when we are talking about Delhi's condition right now, that is not the case. Okay, in the nights also we are facing this heat. Okay, and because of which that buffer to decrease the temperature is not there, and because of which we are seeing an increase in the temperature. So this particular article will be covered in focus. Okay, so that is there. Now last part, that is your practice question. Which of the following animals are social animals that live in groups called herds and probably have names for each other? Elephant, sloth bear, leopards and koalas. Okay, so you can attempt this question and answer in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe. Thank you.